Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2. Game 2 taking place on Twisted Meadows between Sonic and Happy. Over here on the top right hand side of the map we have Happy spawning as the purple Undead player. Meanwhile on the bottom left we have Sonic spawning as the yellow Night Elf. Gonna go ahead and speed things up once more. If you guys are subscribed to me, thank you for being subscribed. Don't forget to like this video. If you have not subscribed to me, well, you can solve that problem right now. Subscribe to me and also like this video as well, as oftentimes viewers forget to do it at the end of a video. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening here. Ancient of War going to be rooting itself and then aggroing on this Ogre Warrior creep camp. A little bit strange, as the Ancient of War now going to turn around, start to finally engage. And what is going to be nice about this is that there's going to be pretty much a full surround on this Ancient of War. It leaves a lot more room to maneuver for that Night Elf, as there is a lot of wisp being brought here. This is actually a very, very high damage creep camp. You can see the Forest Troll Trappers, the Forest Troll Warlord, all of them. The Ghoul gets taken down, and now the Forest Troll Warlord will get taken down as well. Warden picks up a Sobi mask, and this could potentially be a problem. Happy is going to come across inside here, going to go after the units, and it looks as though, yes, one Forest Troll Trapper will get taken out. There's an ensnare, there's a Dust of Appearance, Ogre Warrior taken down, and another steal by Happy as a Shadow Strike finally going down on that Death Knight. Death Knight trying to run away, down to 490 hit points. Meanwhile, Ghouls trying to run around every which way as well in order to protect themselves. The Warden now going to make its way over. Are we going to perhaps see a Shadow Strike onto a Ghoul? There is an ensnare there, and this one particular Ghoul, one or two more attacks should do it. One more shot, there it goes, as the Archer now going to come back around. Happy doing a good job disrupting Sonic's early sort of creeping, as a second Ancient of War is also coming into play. This Ancient of War currently sitting at 800 hit points, going to take a lot of damage, as we now see the focus of the attention being switched over. All right, Warden now back off to the north here. You can see that the Ancient of War was purposely trying to not pull aggro, the Warden going after the units instead, and I'm not sure if that worked in favor or against. Dual Ancient of Wars, one should be training up an archer, the other should be uprooted and attacking. Not quite sure why it currently is the way it is, as the Death Knight takes a little bit more damage again. Skeletal Minion now taken down. Archer could turn around, start firing back as well. What is going to be going down here? Ancient of War now picks itself up as the Death Knight is wandering back home. The Death Knight has taken a little bit of damage, down to 350, doesn't want to stick around in that fight. Meanwhile, the Warden picks up Boots of Speed from the Goblin Merchant Shop. So it looks as though Sonic is going to be going for that solo Warden strategy. Very, very nice items currently for that Warden, picking up a Circlet of Nobility as well, as the Warden now ventures off to the north. Are we perhaps going to see some Shadow Strikes onto some of these Acolytes? That is the next big question. You can see the Warden now making its rounds and making its way over. They're going to aggro the creeps just long enough to cause problems. There's a Shadow Strike onto a Ghoul. It looks as though the Death Knight will be forced to use the Death Coil to try and save and heal it, as the Warden is just maneuvering through this creep camp, trying to pick off a unit or two. There goes an ensnare, none on the low hit point unit. There goes another Death Coil, and so far Happy has been playing at an extremely high level, as the Warden unable to get within melee range of that low hit point unit. Surround now possible onto that Warden. No, she's able to break free, as the units are now running every which way, running back. Warden sitting at 2.5, as the Warden may try and pick up some units as well. There's a Staff of Teleportation pickup, while they're followed up with the Shadow Meld. Dust of Appearance could be purchased. No, not purchased at all. The Forest Troll Warlord not even engaging there. Ghouls still wandering around, and it looks like the Ghouls could be going after a creep camp while the Death Knight is still on its way. Now, this should get very close, if not to level 3. Meanwhile, the Warden back off to the north, trying to get some easy kills. Takes some Nerubian Tower slowness. That cold tower causing so many problems, as now we see the Halls of the Dead as well. Happy gonna is it gonna get to level 3 here? It should be. No, not shouldn't be. Should be close. Yeah, 476 out of 500. as the Death Knight now continues to wander around. There is a lot of archers currently in play. Warden is trying to get to level 3 and does get there. Gets a Shadow Strike off onto one Acolyte. Is it going to get another Shadow Strike off onto another Acolyte? That is going to be the big question, as it could get another Shadow Strike there. There is the Staff of Teleportation. It is just going to escape, head back home, drop the Circlet of did not drop the Circlet of Nobility, just drank too much Moonwell juice for her own good. Warden now making its round all across over here. Let's take a look. The Ancient of War has taken a lot of damage, but the Cloak of Shadows picked up by that Warden in addition to that Wand of Mana Stealing. It looks as though things are going fairly well for Sonik, leaving behind that Cloak of Shadows as the Ancient of War is just walking around here taking a lot of that damage. Not quite sure what to make of it. That is a lot of damage indeed, and now going to be sitting alive at 110. All right, will it be able to make its way off to the north here? Warden looking for where exactly the undead player could be, and Happy is content just sitting inside his base. Upgrade the Black Citadel about a third of the way through. Lich is going to be joining in on the fight. Archers, Forest Troll, Berserker, all ready to go as well, as you see another Ancient of War by Sonik. Very good usage of the eating of the trees here in order to get into a constantly beneficial position. That Warden is going to get to level 4 in just a moment, and once it gets to level 4 and ultimately level 5, things could go very, very poorly for the Undead. All right. Sonik now looking to back off. Is it going to go after these units once more? 30 damage every tick as the Warden does another Wand of Mana Stealing, another Shadow Strike, and now does need to, in fact, get away. Does not want to stick around for far too long. Now, the Warden did land 2 Shadow Strikes onto that Death Knight. You may have been wondering, hey, why didn't he just use the Shadow Strikes onto, say, another unit in order to take it down? That would be because the Shadow Strike is not going to be enough to kill anything while the Death Knight still has mana. 85 mana right now, had over 150 a moment ago. 2 Death Coils being able to heal 400 points of damage, but that Death Knight cannot heal itself aside from the passive health regeneration of Unholy Aura. Back across here, you can see dropping of the Circlet of Nobility, picking it back up, and all of these Moonwells are a little bit more drained. Well, because that Warden didn't take off that Circlet the first time around. We'll see if that has an impact on the long-term game. Warden now making her way over here to the top right, looking to finish off this Goblin Merchant, or see what's happening at this Goblin Merchant creep camp. Skeletal minion down to 9 hit points. One more blow. There it goes. A little bit more experience. Only 387 away from level 5. Once that Warden is at level 5, level 3 Blink with level 2 Shadow Strike is an absolute nightmare on unprotected gold mines. However, you can see that a Warden is just wandering around every which way, and the Sobi mask is still favoring that Warden very heavily. All right, what item will be picked up there? It looks as though Cloak of Shadows is going to be dropped off again. Not necessarily the best item at all, as the Warden may decide to, nope, not sure what the Warden wants to do. Perhaps just try and figure out where the Lich and the Death Knight are at. Now, the Warden is still sitting at level 4. There's the Blink, there's a Shadow Strike, finishes off a Ghoul, and now looking to get away, may be able to get off another Shadow Strike here if it sticks around long enough, and it looks like it might be able to do exactly that. There's that 150 hit points, but the Obsidian statues with their Essence of Blight more than enough to keep that Ghoul healthy, at least for a little while longer. All right, we need to see 2 more ticks of that Shadow Strike. Is it going to go? No, it is not. Knew that perfectly, as the Panda has been picked up. Panda, the second hero, what I was waiting for, as the Warden is already at level 4 and is able to cause so much disruption just by blinking every which way on the map. Now, you can see a little bit of damage coming its way through. Panda sitting at level 2, Tree of Life ready to go, and Sonik is in great position. Warden Gonna be going after these ghouls here. There's the destroyer. There's the destroyer and the lich. All of them are fighting, blinking back the other way again. And all of this is doing is trying to buy time for the panda. If the panda can get to level 3, that level 2 Breath of Fire will cause some serious damage. As we're looking at the panda now looking to head up the ramp here. Does he know that the lich is here? I do believe so. Lich is going to be caught unaware. Big problem picking up the, oh no, Orb of Darkness not picked up. Staff of Teleportation come in. Lich, where'd the Orb of Darkness go? Oh my goodness, I do not know. No, not there. I know I saw an Orb of Darkness. Still trying to fight. There goes another unit, and it looks like the Lich actually has the Orb of Darkness. Orb of Darkness, yes, is in fact on the Lich. Bear's now getting destroyed. And wow, talk about not being at the right place at the right time. Shadow striking down a ghoul, not going to be enough to win the game, but the destroyers are completely tearing apart the bears. Are what looked like in favor of the Warden now looks like it is in favor of the Lich and that Death Knight. Lich sitting at level 3 has Orb of Corruption. Oh, Frost Nova, Breath of Fire. What's going to be happening here? Death Knight does have sitting at level 4 Breath of Fire. Death Pact in order to stay alive, and does so ever so barely as the Death Knight survives at level 4. Obsidian Statue once more joining in on the fight. Skeletal Minion in that front line. Death Knight now with that Orb of Darkness, but hanging back. And at this stage, I do not believe even Sonik can try to go for any sort of Chimera play at all. The Death Knight and the Lich both have orbs, allowing them to attack air units. Death Knight doing another death pack right there in order to stay alive. And you can see he's now back up to 500 hit points and rising rather quickly as the Obsidian statues have been helping. All right, Lich is in trouble. Death Knight may try to go after a number of key units. Let's take a look at that. There goes a Frost Nova onto an Archer as you see more damage coming across. Destroyers going after the bear over here. Death Knight taking a lot of damage, down to 247. It is trying to get away, forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. Dryads are picked apart though, as we now see, well, a Crypt Fiend able to escape at just the right time, burrowing itself. And will it be able to stay alive? That is going to be the big question. Wow, if it ever gets below 400, yeah, it did get below 400 for a split second, but that might have been because the Crypt Fiend decided to unburrow itself rather than stay underground. So yeah, happy. Very, very happy at keeping that Crypt Fiend alive as we now take a look at the overall army sizes. 50 over 60 compared to 50 over 80. That 80 just because you want multiple Moonwells, as Sonik does have the smaller army right now since he has the expansion. 5 additional Wisp haunting or entangling that gold mine, getting in a little bit of additional gold, but at the cost of having a slightly smaller army. And the army is now getting caught in between 2 locations. All right, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Panda is in position to get taken down. Meanwhile, Death Knight still has about 3 seconds of invulnerability. It is now up. All right, what's going to be happening here? Death Knight needs to get away. It used a Dark Ritual, I believe, once again in order to stay alive. And this has been the talk of the game. Happy playing absolutely beautifully as we're going to be looking at the death of at least 1, if not 2 bears. Frost Nova slowing that bear down. There it goes. Level 4 on the Death Knight, level 4 on the Lich, level 2, I believe, on the, no, level 1 still on that Dark Ranger, as the Dark Ranger was just recently picked up. Destroyer heading off over here, making sure that there is not an expansion. He's going to spot this expansion now and attempt to finish off the Ancient of War and Tree of Life. That looks like it's going to be very, very short work there, as the Death Knight now waiting to see what's going to happen. Shadow Strike onto a Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend could end up burrowing. You see a little bit of attacks coming underway. Obsidian Statue unable to out-heal the damage being dealt, but still a very effective job right there. Tree of Life now down to 800 hit points and dropping quickly as the Warden, Hippogriffs, and Dryads are looking to try and finish things off. There's a quick web right there. Hippogriff trying to go after the Destroyers. All the units are trying to counter each other here as we see a quick Frost Nova Death Coil. Is the Warden going to get taken down? No, blinking away and able to Staff of Teleportation. No, wait, what? All right, there must have been one final attack right there, and I believe this is gonna be just the beginning of the end. Yes, there is still a panda out on the field, but between the hero nuking ability of the Death Knight and that Lich, things are just far too much. Dryads all falling apart now. Economic advantage no longer in favor of Sonik, as we've been seeing those, well, skeletal minions and just giving hit points and mana to the Lich and the Death Knight between Dark Ritual and Death Pact. Does the Dark Ranger have the Orb of Darkness? No. All right, Orb of Darkness was sold. I was going to say that might have been a great use of the Orb of Darkness in order to always have skeletal minions to try and feast off of, so to speak, to get more hit points and more mana. That was not the case. Boots of Speed now on that Lich as the Dark Ranger now making its way off to the north, trying to go after a Hippogriff, but that Hippogriff is far too fast. Warden was resurrected, I believe, at the tavern, as the Warden now tries to dive on inside here. The big question will be, how much damage can the Warden really do against this standing army? Just far too strong. Warden quickly tries to burrow behind enemy lines. Going to continue the fight here. Warden still wandering around back across, as we are not looking at a lot of mana in those Moonwells. Home field advantage pretty much going to be negated, as the burrowed Crypt Fiends still healing up pretty regularly. Death Coil, Frost Nova, one more shot should do it. There's the blink away again, as the Panda now joins in on the fight. Though we should be looking at a rejuvenation onto the Warden. There you have it, as there is still more fighting happening here. Druid of the Claw gonna get taken down. Warden comes in with a Shadow Strike, Breath of Fire off on the Crypt Fiend, as bears are falling down as well. If you're trading 4 supply units for 3 supply units, you are losing, and that is what exactly is happening for Sonik. All right, continuing Shadow Strike once more. Lich now at level 5. Level 3 Frost Nova most likely in the works, as the Druid of the Claw, well, Panda gets that first Frost Nova, as the Dark Ranger now sits at level 3. Dark Ranger still has those black arrows, causing more and more skeletal minions to be brought into play. Of course you wouldn't have that. The Dark Ranger already has the black arrow proccing ability, so why would you want another black or Orb of Darkness? All right, Bear now joining in on the fight in the bear form, only to get taken down in an instant, as we're looking at the Death Knight still looking to finish off the last of these bears here. It looks as though Happy gonna easily take this game. Just far too much army left for Happy. Happy's army is seen at 46 over 70 compared to 28 over 70. Difference of 19 right now, as the Death Knight looking to finish off some Moonwells and make sure that there is no real plan for recovery. Death Knight off to the north. There's the bear. Frost Nova, Death Coil taken out before the transformation was completed. Loss of a lot of hit points right there. Instead of 960, I think it's 580 hit points. That is why that hero nuking looked that much stronger, as the Death Knight, well, gets away from the Warden again. Or the Warden gets away from the Death Knight again. Are we going to see what's going to see with that Warden? Warden at 110 hit points can almost ignore the Warden at this point, knowing that the Warden is really not going to try and venture forth. Panda is looking to get resurrected, but it will not see the light of day again. Another 225 Shadow Strike come in, and there you have it. There is the GG's. Happy easily taking game number 2 and this series over Sonik. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.